Hello students, today we are going to see this new chapter which is known as forms. Okay, forms in HTML. Okay, so in our day-to-day life we'll be using these forms to give some data to some company or to government institution. Okay, so if you are going to get a community certificate in the government district office, then you have to fill the form that your father's name, your mother's name, your name, your age. The same thing, but it is done in a different way here in this HTML page. Okay, so first of all you have to create a web page that should get some data from the user. So so this form will collect some data from the user and store it in some place in the web page. So here you can see that the same concept, but the form that is given in the paper material is converted to HTML web page, so that it would be very easy to transfer the form to everyone. Okay, so you may see that, okay, in the future if you are going to admit your kids in the school, then they will send a link. Okay, they will send a web page link to your phone or some email, so that you can just click on that and open that web page, and you will be entering the data of your kids detail, or if your parents detail in the particular form. So, and if you submit that, it will take you to the payment option, and it will do the work that is meant to do it. Okay, so the user will have to input some data to the web page. Okay, so in this chapter we are going to see these tags that are used to get information from the user. Okay, so that's what it's given here. So it's a form fields. Okay, so there are some form fields that are there to collect some data from the user. Okay, so the input elements like field, text field, checkbox, radio button, submit button, and more are there. Okay, so the form also contains select list, text area, field set, and label elements. Okay, so these are all the elements that we are going to see in this chapter. So first of all, we have to know what is form tag. Okay, so if you want to display a form in this web page, then you have to use this form tag. So there are two attributes to this form tag. So one is action and one is method. Okay, so after entering all the data, the form must be submitted. So where the data must be submitted, so that comes under this action. Okay, so you may take that data and store it to another website, or you can store that in a local database or in a local file. Anything can be done, so that action will be given inside this action attribute. So next is method, how, in which way you want to store the data. Okay, so there are two options here. One is post method and one is get method. So this post method uh, will post the data in the URL itself. Okay, so in the URL itself, the URL will be transferred from that web page to another page. Okay, so and get method will hide the data in the URL, but it will send the data to the particular address. Okay, in the address that is mentioned in the action place. Okay, so this is a very uh, easy method to transmit data from the web page to other application or other web page. Okay, so we are going to see the syntax of using this form tag. Form, and it is a container tag, so you'll be using this form and slash form to enter input elements. Okay, so we'll see the first element is input elements, that is text field. So this text field allows the user to type text into the text field box. Okay, so here they have created an example. So form action is equal to form.html. so this is a separate HTML that will, the data that is entered here in this form will be transferred to this form.html. The method that is used here is post method. Okay, so the first thing is, you can see that the first name, input type is equal to text, name is equal to first name. So the user enters some data into the text field, and to get the text field they will be using a name. Okay, so that name is first name. So likewise you can use the password field also. So input type is equal to password. Here they have used input type is equal to text, but here input type is equal to password. So as you know, when you type something in the password field, that the dot, a big dark dot will be available, so that the text that is entered in the text box will not be available. So to hide the content in the text box, we'll be using this. So here you can see that they have created a password field. Okay, next is radio button. So this radio button is another type of input button. You can select only one options. So this radio button will be looking somewhat like this. So currently it is not in your book. I will show you to show that in the next class. Okay, so here you can see that this radio button will show a small rounded button will be there, so you can click this radio button and you can select some options. Okay, so likewise you can which are used to select the choose the best answer. Okay, so you can select any one of the options. Okay, so this can be done by using this uh, radio button. Okay, so a question will be given and there will be four options. You have to select any one. So these four options will be given in this radio button, so that you can select any one of the options. Okay, so uh, this kind of input methods can be used using this radio button. Okay, so here you can see there is an example here. So in that they have given male or female. Okay, you have to select any one from this. Okay, next is checkbox. So this checkbox can in the radio, there was small difference between the radio button and the checkbox is, so in the radio button you can select only one option, but in this checkbox you can select multiple options. Okay, multiple choice or multiple answers can be selected by using this checkbox. So in the radio button you will be seeing a rounded button will be there. When you click on that, a dot will be appearing in the center of it, but in this checkbox you'll be having a square shaped icon will be there. When you click on that, it will make a tick mark inside that. Okay, so this is known as checkbox. You can select all the options from the checkbox if you need. Okay, if you want some option, then you can select one or two options as you wish. So next is submit button. So this is a common button. So when you the syntax for this is input type is equal to submit, and the checkbox is input type is equal to checkbox. Okay, and the sorry, radio button is input type is equal to radio. So you can use any of these input types, so that to use this input type methods. Okay, so here you can see that there is an example. So they have used all the input type. So input type is equal to text, so the name is entered here, and the input type is equal to standard, and the input type is equal to exam number, and you have to submit the uh, page. Okay, So here you can see that this is a student's detail. So this can be viewed in a similar way, so that you can just enter data online. So and you can store the data in the company website itself. Okay, so it's a very easy way to get the information from the user. So before using this form, the person will be collecting all the forms and they have to enter all the data in the computer. So it takes very long time, and there is somewhat error can appear in the process. So if the person who is responsible for the data or uh, he must enter only one data, then there will be no errors, and it is easy to enter the data into the system. So data forms is very easy one. Okay, so if you want to create a form to get the information from the user, then this form tag is important, and the input type is equal to text, input type is equal to password, input type is equal to radio button, check button, and submit. So these are all the tags that are used to get information from the user. So here you can see that with this we'll finish the class today. We'll see the next chapter in the next class. Thank you, students.